Good evening and welcome to the Candidates Forum presented and produced by the League of Women Voters of Northwest Wayne County. My name is Carrie Moon Dupree and I am president of our local League of Women Voters. I'm also the moderator for this event. Tonight, we welcome the candidates running for Livonia City Treasurer. There are two candidates running for this four-year term, Andrew Lendrum and Susan Nash. Both candidates will be on the ballot for the November general election. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan political organization. We do not support or oppose any candidate running for office. The League does take positions on issues after study, so you may see our name attached to an issue that we are advocating or opposing. The League of Women Voters is where hands-on work to safeguard democracy leads to civic improvement. Membership is open to anyone who is at least 16 years old, and you can join through our websites. The League's main mission is to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation in government. One of the ways we do that is by having forums such as this one tonight. The League also provides a nonpartisan voter guide, which can be found online at vote4one.org. Only League personnel and the candidates are present at this forum. We solicited questions from the public in advance so that we could ask them at tonight's forum. Questions were screened for clarity, and those which included personal attacks on a candidate were eliminated. The views expressed in this forum are those of the candidates and not of the League of Women Voters. All qualified candidates were invited and are here tonight. All the candidates have agreed to the format for tonight's forum, which is as follows. Each candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement, a 2-minute response to all questions, and a 2-minute closing statement. The order that the candidates speak was determined by a random selection process witnessed by the candidates before the recording of the forum. We will rotate the order of the candidate who responds to a question first. League members Jackie Peters produced this forum tonight, and Val Nelson is our timer. She will be holding up cards so that the candidates know when their time is up. The candidate must stop when the stop sign appears. And now we will get started with our forum. Let us begin with our opening statement. Ms. Nash, can you begin, please?
Thank you. Hello, I am Susan Nash, and I am running to be the next Livonia City Treasurer. I would like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting tonight's forum, and I'd like to say hi to Mr. Lendrum this evening. How are you doing? I have been honored to serve our community for 2 years as on City Council and the last 8 years as Livonia City Clerk. Our citizens deserve committed and engaged people in public office. I have proven that I am both. I moved to Livonia 26 years ago when I married my husband, Bob. He has lived in Livonia his whole life, and we knew this is where we wanted to raise a family. Over the past 26 years, I have volunteered for many different organizations, too many of them to mention, but I will mention one, the LJL. Some of my family's fondest memories are from the years our children, Lindsay and Logan, participated in LJL activities. As a past council member and current city clerk, I have had the privilege to work with every department in the city and many community organizations as well as businesses. I have a comprehensive knowledge of our city budget and how the monies are collected and allocated to provide the top-notch city services that our citizens deserve and expect. Makes me a qualified candidate to be the next city treasurer. I have received many endorsements from members of our community. The other day, I received the endorsement of AFSCME. And AFSCME represents the employees of City of Livonia. I have always considered the Livonia employees to be a team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I'm honored to have their endorsement. Again, my name is Susan Nash.
Thank you. Mr. Lundrum, your opening statement?
Hi, I'm Andy Lindrum, and I want to work for you as the next treasurer of Livonia. I've lived in Livonia since 1968. I graduated from Livonia Stevenson, where I had the blessing of meeting my wife, Arlene. We chose to stay in Livonia and raise our two sons and continue to live here. We both love Livonia. I started my career in Livonia as well. In the late 1970s, I owned an insurance agency, which I sold in the 1980s. I'm sorry, in the 1970s, I owned it. In the 1980s, I sold it to start a real estate and land development business. My company developed Fox Creek Meadows and Stonehouse Estates, subdivisions in Livonia. I've also built 4 homes for families in Livonia. Livonia has been very good to me, so I have looked for opportunities to give back to the community. In 2016, I was asked to sit on the board of review due to my background and extensive experience in the real estate industry. As a member of the board of review, I have been certified by the State Tax Commission in the state of Michigan assessing and tax law. I have also served Livonia Brownfield Redevelopment Authority since 2017, which also allows me to use my real estate knowledge to help the community. These are important experiences, along with my business background, that helped me be a great treasurer for the city of Livonia. As a member of the Board of Review, I am familiar with both the Treasurer's Office and Assessment Department. As a treasurer, I'm not planning on reinventing the wheel. Instead, I would build upon the great improvements implemented over the recent years. As a business person, I know that the customer is the most important part of any business success. I think that the citizens of Livonia are the treasurer's customers and should be treated as such. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the questions, and Mr. Landry, you're first. The question is, why are you running for city treasurer?
I believe it's important to give back to the community, especially one that has been so good to me and my family. I have always looked for ways to do just that. One example is for over 10 years, I oversee a group which provides 80 food baskets during the holidays for needy families in Wayne County. 40 of these families are from Emerson Middle School in Livonia. My career in real estate is winding down, and I felt this is an excellent time to give even more back to the city as treasurer. Thank you.
Ms. Nash, same question.
I've spent the last 10 years the last 10 years serving the city of Livonia. As much as I have enjoyed my time as city clerk for the last 8 years and city council the 2 years before that, I know that I have more to give the community. The citizens of Livonia deserve an engaged and committed person in public office. I am that person. I have proven to be an engaged and committed elected official in the city of Livonia. I am running to continue to serve our community, this community that we all love to live in, work in, and play in.
Thank you. The next question, and we will begin with Ms. Nash. What qualifies you for the position of city treasurer?
As I stated before, and I will state again, I've spent the last 10 years, I've worked with every department in our city. I have a comprehensive knowledge of our budget. For example, last night sat through a budget meeting, the whole setup. As a department head, I have to present my budget to the mayor of what we need for that department to run. As city clerk, I've had multiple budgets that I have to do. It's not just one. I will take that experience and knowledge to the treasurer's office, where I will continue to put forth a solid budget for that office. I have an understanding how the whole city budget is put together. I have an understanding of how the monies are collected. I have an understanding of how the monies are allocated to provide the best city services that we can for our community.
Thank you. Mr. Lundgren, the same question.
And the question was?
What qualifies you for the position as city treasurer?
Okay, thank you. Well, as I stated earlier, I've owned several businesses in the city. I've had employees. I've built homes. I've actually developed properties, which is no small undertaking. So I understand how to put things together, make things work, and even in the real estate industry, I've dealt with so many different people that I feel that as city treasurer, I would be able to handle most situations, if not all. And I believe I am qualified. Thank you.
Okay, the next question, and Mr. Landrieu, you would begin. When was the last time the city updated its cybersecurity system, and are you confident that our current system is secure?
You know, I don't have the answer to when the last time they updated it. I would hope it's been updated. I heard recently, as of today, actually, I heard that they got new cameras, but I'm not privy to that information at this time. I'm not directly employed by the city.
Thank you. Ms. Nash, the same question.
Well, I'm going to answer almost identical to Mr. Lendrum. I too don't know exactly when our cybersecurity has been updated. I'm again, like Mr. Lendrum, not privy to that information either. I do know that we stay on the cutting edge of security. I know we are constantly updating and following whatever guidelines there are by the state or whatever governing body for, like when Mr. Lendrum just mentioned cameras, that the retention period that we keep footage and stuff. But as far as the last update for cybersecurity, I too do not have the answer to that.
Thank you. The next question, Ms. Nash, you will begin. What are the priority issues facing the city of Livonia, and how would you address them from the treasurer's office?
I would say one of our biggest issues we have in the city of Livonia is employment. We strive to give the best city services that we can. We are a service industry. That's what we are. But to give this service, we need employees. We need people that want to work for the city of Livonia. We have 630 people that work for the city of Livonia, and they are dedicated employees. But we need some more. We need more people that are willing to come in and work. So we need to provide the salaries and benefit packages to all employees that will make it an appealing to come work for us. We have problems getting seasonal employees during the summer to help with seasonal work. We need to find a way to make it attractive. We have a police department and fire department that we have problems staffing. When you have less people in the pool of candidates to be in those positions, and every community is pulling from the same pool, we have to be competitive compared as with the other communities. So I would say the biggest problem we have and how I would address it is to continue to work with the mayor and council and to try and make Livonia the most appealing community for people to work for, to give our citizens the services that they deserve.
Thank you. Mr. Lindrum, the same question.
I'm sorry to have you keep repeating the question,
That's
but
okay.
I appreciate it.
What are the priority issues facing the city of Livonia, and how would you address them through the treasurer's office?
Okay, I believe that probably the biggest priority facing the city right now is the infrastructure, maintaining the buildings and water lines, all sewers, everything. And I believe the way to help from the treasurer's office is to continue the current treasurer and the previous treasurer implemented some stuff where actually Livonia's probably got one of the highest collection rates on taxes. That enables the city to fund their budgets. So I would continue the program that they started as far as collecting taxes.
Thank you. The next question, Mr. Lundgren will start. What besides tax collection does the Treasury Office do?
Well, the treasurer actually oversees a staff of 4 employees, full-time employees, 2 seasonal employees, and a deputy treasurer. The treasurer is responsible for all activities and functions of this office, making sure that they are done in accordance with the state of Michigan tax law, Wayne County Treasurer's procedures, and Livonia City Treasurer, and the financial policies of the city of Livonia. The treasurer is responsible for collection, distribution, and custody of all revenues belonging to and held in trust by the city. All funds collected by the city agencies are transmitted to the treasurer, verified and recorded through cash receipts, deposits, and reported daily to the financial department. The Livonia treasurer approves the investment transactions and transfers of funds based on instructions from the finance director. The treasurer is the check signer of the city. The treasurer oversees the creation, billing, collection, and distribution of over $200 million from tax rolls, approximately from 48,000 tax parcels, in accordance with the state of Michigan. The treasurer is directly responsible for collecting delinquent personal property taxes, including calling on business owners, making site visits, seizing and appearing in court for judgment hearings, and auctionings of personal property to pay delinquent taxes. The treasurer should be able to educate business owners as well as residential property owners on tax law and programs available for assistance.
Thank you. Ms. Nash, the same question.
Thank you. The Office of the Livonia City Treasurer is responsible for a variety of important governmental duties involving the collection, distribution, and the custody of all revenues belonging to and held in trust by the city. All the funds collected by the various city departments are transmitted to the treasurer's office, where these funds are verified and deposited into the city's financial records based on instructions from the city's financial director. The treasurer's office then transmits the directives to various financial institutions for the daily investments of the city to maximize the interest of the financial holdings. Working in conjunction with the city assessor, the city treasurer's office is also responsible for the issuance and collection of all property tax bills twice yearly. The city treasurer's office also collects water bills. The city treasurer's office works with the community. The city's treasurer's office works with housing when we have homes that are in foreclosure or have problems, that the residents are having issues. The city treasurer works with the county. We have the first right of refusal, and that is sent to the city treasurer's office along with housing to see if maybe these are homes that we want to pick up to help people. The city treasurer works with multiple departments, in fact, every department really in the community, works with the law department daily, with the finance department daily. The treasurer works with the court system. As it is stated before, we have a very high tax collection rate in the city of Livonia. It's about a little over 98%, but there still is that 2%. And the treasurer goes out and helps collect those funds and handles it with the court system of how we're going to take care of that to do the best for our community.
Thank you. The next question, Ms. Nash will answer first. How will you handle residents who come into the office after tax deadline to pay their taxes?
Well, the same way that I've handled residents when they've come in with a ballot after the time. As much as we would like to be able to say it's okay, we can't. We have to follow laws. Okay, so if there's a deadline, there is the deadline. We have to make sure residents are aware. I believe education for residents is big, making sure that everything is posted. We have a lot of access to a lot of ways to get information out there now. We have We have city social media, we have websites, we have everything. Reminders to the residents to get it in by the 14th of September and then the 14th of February. We can work with the county for ones that can go a little later, but unfortunately, if there is a deadline, if there's a deadline for one, there's a deadline for all. And we have to stick to it because you have to be fair to everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Lundgren, the same question.
Well, it's pretty clear. You got a deadline, you have to pay it. We would refer them to the county because that's where it goes to afterwards. I mean, do what you got to do, and try to do it with a smile. I mean, that's what I would do.
Thank you. The next question, we will start with Mr. Lundgren. Do you have suggestions as to how to improve some of the processes which are now in place in the treasurer's office? What would that look like?
I believe the office is run very well. And until I get in there and see what's going on, I don't know how I could make any suggestions to improve it. I actually spent some time with the treasurer going out to learn how she tries to approach these accounts that are delinquent, whether it was a couple businesses that we went to. So other than that, how could I say if I haven't experienced it yet? So I don't want to speculate. Thank you.
Ms. Nash, the same question.
Well, first, I'd like to state that, yes, I believe that the current treasurer has done a fabulous job. He is on top of everything and is out there. I have talked to her on many occasions on different issues that she has had. The only thing I would, and it's not anything, it's something that I would like to try and do, something we've done in the clerk's office. I see a lot of residents coming in who want to take care of their business in person. They could mail in their bills. They could drop them off in the red box outside. But there's a lot of people that want to come into City Hall. And I am cognizant of the fact that not everybody can get in 8:30 to 5 o'clock to the traditional City Hall hours. So I would like to investigate having maybe some expanded hours, maybe on a Saturday or one night a week during tax season, similar to what I did in the clerk's office, where I expanded the hours to make it easier for residents to come in during election cycle. I would like to take that and implement that into the treasurer's office and see if that will help our residents. Anything we can do to help our residents to make it easier on them.
Thank you. Next question, Ms. Nash will start. Some communities outsource various financial tasks of this department. Should Livonia?
I am not a fan of outsourcing in general. I like to see things in-house, so this way there is more control. You have your eyes on it, your hands are on it, you know what's going on. Something as important as collecting taxes, something as important as everybody's hard-earned tax dollars. I think the more we can keep in-house, that we can see it, we know how everything is handled. That's what I would like to see, the continuation of that. I do know other communities outsource some things with the collections, and maybe they have collection agencies go out. I believe we can continue in Livonia, and I would continue if I am the treasurer, where I would go out and I would go talk to the businesses or whoever that is having problems with their taxes, rather than outsourcing. I think that's what the treasurer is elected to do and paid to do the job.
Thank you. Mr. Lundgren, the same question.
With the efficiency that's been set up by the treasurer's office, I'm not sure how you would justify sourcing it out. And again, when you get outsiders doing the job, you don't necessarily know how they're going to deal with your client. So at this time, I would say no to outsourcing.
Thank you. Next question, Mr. Landrum would start. What is the most challenging part of the budget process for you?
For me, I don't know that there is any challenge to it. I don't make it. I just have to follow it, right? So I'm here to follow and do what I'm supposed to. That's
Thank
it.
you. Ms. Nash, the same question.
Well, after just coming through having to write 4 budgets, to submit 4 budgets to the finance director for the mayor to approve or deny, one of the most challenging thing is to come in with a feasible budget for the department. Every department, we have things that we have to pay for, salaries, fringe benefits, legacy costs, all that we have we have to cover. But there's also some things that sometimes you're looking at that you want for your department. Maybe it's updating computers, or it's updating a computer system, or it's getting a new piece of equipment. It's getting a new sorter to be able to do the envelopes. Anything like that, we have to submit almost in a wish list as a department head. And unfortunately, a lot of the wishes don't come through. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. So that is kind of one of the most challenging things, is you're putting this budget in, you're hoping you know what your department needs, you know what is needed and what could help the employees and the residents. But sometimes we have to say, we are told no, because they're just the money and you can only do with what you have money to spend on.
Thank you. The next question, Ms. Nash would begin. The treasurer collects taxes for various other entities for the city and then distributes that money. Can you name one of those entities besides the city?
The city of Livonia collects taxes for the Livonia Public Schools. Do you only want one, or do you want multiple?
One is fine, because
Okay, there are
Okay.
multiple.
Mr. Linden, the same question.
I knew the school. I'm not sure what other ones. To be honest, I know that we collect for the schools. That's it.
Thank you. Next question, Mr. Lendrum, you begin. Prop A went into effect in 1994, and this affects the revenue that Livonia will be able to collect for property taxes. How does this affect the financial forecast for Livonia?
Well, it puts a cap on what the property values go up to until the property is sold. That's why being on the board of review was interesting. Livonia does a good job as far as not just going to the sales price, which people recently have been paying way over asking price, and the assessed value is the purchase price is more than double the assessed value. So Livonia's done a good job on keeping it under control.
Ms. Nash, the same question.
Okay, so that was about 1994, the Proposition A, right?
Right.
The property taxes and the assessed value, the assessor has the guidelines that they have to follow, right? And as Mr. Lendrum pointed out, we have had a lot of houses that have sold recently to top dollar. When you've had turnkey homes, we're flipping, right? We're going from people that have lived here for many years, and those houses were capped. They were, could only go up at the rate of inflation, or less than 5%, 5% or less, could not be higher than that. And then when homes have sold to new people, it uncaps and it goes now to the sale price. So yes, we have to work with those numbers. That's the numbers we have to work with. But we do stay in the city of Livonia. It was mentioned, we talked about it last night, that this past year, the assessed value was 5%. Because of the rate of inflation was 8%. The Headley agreement was in place at the maximum of 5%. In other years, we've had only maybe an increase of 1%, all depending on what was going on with everything else in the community.
Thank you. Next question, Ms. Nash, you would answer first. In the event of a federal government shutdown, how would this affect the city of Livonia, if at all?
Well, the city of Livonia uses city funds to run, but we do get some aid from the federal government. And we get grants and different things that do happen. It would, if it would affect the city of Livonia, it would take a little bit of time for that to happen. I'm not exactly sure how long, but we do have our funds that are available that we have in our coffers to be able to run our budget at least for that year. And then we do have a reserve. So if there was any kind of federal need, that something that we're getting, like for with the CBDG or for food assistance, we would be able to step in with some of our general fund if needed to help our residents.
Thank you. Mr. Lundrum, the same question.
Question again, one more time, please.
In the event of a federal government shutdown, how would this affect the city of Livonia, if at all?
So you're talking if they don't renew the budget, they don't get a budget right now? Well, if that happens, the city should be able to maintain for a while anyways, but I don't think that they'll let that go that long, that it should snowball down to the city. Livonia's pretty well run, so it should be okay for a while, but exactly how long, I have no idea.
Thank you. And this is the last question, and Mr. Lundrum, you will begin. What is the working relationship between the treasurer's office and the finance director?
What is the working relation? Well, the finance director tells the treasurer where to send the money for investments and other things. So I guess we have to work hand in hand.
Thank you. Ms. Nash, the same question.
There is a daily relationship between the treasurer's office and the finance department and the director of finance. As I stated before, the city's finance director tells the city treasurer how to handle, where to deposit the money and where everything goes. And on a daily basis, the treasurer's office is working with the finance department when it comes to water bill collections and other things. Now that City Hall is not as open as it used to be, you have people where they used to go upstairs, water bills, now they're paying them at the city treasurer's office, and in some cases at the clerk's office. So there is a working relationship between all the departments there.
Thank you. We will now begin our closing statements. Ms. Nash.
Thank you. In closing, I would again like to thank the League of Women Voters for hosting this evening. I am Susan Nash, and I am running for Livonia City Treasurer. I am respectfully asking Livonia voters to vote for me either via absentee or in person on November 7th for Livonia City Treasurer. As I stated before, our community deserves committed and engaged people in public office. Actions speak louder than words, and I have proven that I am both. I have proven that I am a trusted leader in our community, and I will continue to make sound decisions and always follow the law. I have the experience and knowledge to be the next treasurer. I will work closely with the assessor's office and finance department to serve our community to the best of my ability. I pride myself in fairness, equality, transparency, professionalism, and common sense decision-making in local government to ensure a wonderful way of life for all the Livonia residents and businesses. Thank you for your continued support for me, Susan Nash, and I am asking for your vote on November 7th for Livonia City Treasurer. Good night.
Thank you. Mr. Lundrum, your closing statement?
I would like to thank you, women, for allowing me this opportunity to be in front of you. I believe that my years of business experience in land development, my background of serving the city, and my knowledge of tax and assessing law will allow me to work for the city's citizens of Livonia on day one. I believe I will be able to continue and improve on the excellent services you expect from the treasurer's office. I hope you will support me with your vote on November 7th. I will work for you. Thank you.
We thank the League of Women Voter members who helped with this forum, Jackie Peters, Val Nelson, and Carrie Moon Dupree. The forum has been recorded and can soon be viewed on the League's website, lwvnorthwestwayne.org, and on our YouTube channel. Please note that ownership of the recording or transcript resides with the League of Women Voters, Northwest Wayne County. The candidates or their supporters may not use portions of the forum or any audio clips, video clips, or transcripts for political advertising or other purposes without the written permission of the League of Women Voters of Northwest Wayne County. We also thank the candidates who are running for office. They are asking for your support as they seek a job in the public service sector, and we hope voters will listen to their views. We also appreciate the voters in Livonia who are watching this forum to learn about their choices on November 7th, 2023. All these candidates were also invited to participate in the League of Women Voters online voter guide, a publication you can access by visiting vote411.org. The League of Women Voters is providing this forum as an opportunity for candidates to express their views related to their candidacy. Statements expressed by the candidates are not endorsed nor opposed by the League. Also, the League of Women Voters does not certify any candidate's responses to questions as accurate. Voters are encouraged to fact-check information shared at the forum. Election Day is November 7th, 2023. If you are not registered to vote, you can do so up through Election Day. Within 14 days of election, registration must be done at the office of your city clerk. The polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., but all registered voters can vote early by absentee ballot. Remember that you first must fill out and return an absentee ballot application to your city or township clerk before a ballot can be mailed to you. If you need an absentee ballot application, contact your city clerk. This concludes our forum for this evening. Thank you, candidates, for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.